Hello, beautiful friends. Welcome back to The Random Creative. So, it's been a year, probably more than a year, since I posted anything. Sorry about that. Life kind of gets in the way sometimes, Ended up having to go back to work, like full time, and just didn't have any extra time to do any kind of fun projects or anything like that. So, anyway, we're back now. I'm going to try to make a few more videos because I actually have some downtime, so we'll see where it goes. Yeah, for now, it's just kind of casual, just doing this for fun. I wanted another creative outlet, and I have the time to do it, so anyway, that's kind of a tangent. Today we're going to be talking about a movie that's several years old at this point, but was really well done in my humble opinion. That is The Invisible Man. So I had seen a few trailers and basic reviews for this movie, but it seemed to be one of those that was kind of, fell off the radar once it came out. I am a huge sucker for horror in general and any sort of suspense or thriller, so I was really intrigued when I first saw this trailer and everything. Thought it looked really good. But yeah, I was surprised by how much I enjoyed it. Of course, now that I've watched it, I'm looking over ratings and reviews, and I am very clearly not the only one who enjoyed this movie. It got really high scores by both critics and audience reviews, different places. So yeah, I'm just late to the game like usual. Now this review is going to be pretty spoilery, so spoilers. Y'all been warned. The movie's been out for quite a long time now, so I'm not that worried, but just heads up, just in case you wanted to go watch it yourself. General synopsis is that when the main character Cecilia's not so nice ex takes his own life and leaves her his fortune, she begins to suspect that his death was a hoax. A series of coincidences eventually turn lethal, and Cecilia has to prove that she's being hunted by someone that no one can see. Boy, this movie just jumps right in there. No introductions. We just see this super fancy house with Cecilia getting ready to sneak out while her unsuspecting boyfriend sleeps on. It took me a hot minute to realize what had gone on and the relevance of the diazepam that's shown on screen, because for the life of me I could not remember what the heck diazepam is for. I worked in a medical office for multiple years doing authorizations for medications, so you would think I would know this, but no, apparently my brain just shuffled off that information into the, well, never gonna need that again, corner category of my mind. But eventually I figured out she'd use that on her significant other in order to make him sleep so that she could escape his grasp. And this is where I felt the movie did a great job of just getting us all caught up with Cecilia's plight. She's rescued by her sister Emily and is taken to Emily's boyfriend James's house, and boy is he a tasty dish. Quite possibly my favorite character of the movie for reasons that aren't all just thirst trap, though that helps. They sit down for a conversation, and Cecilia gives kind of a basic recount of her boyfriend's, not so niceness and why she's terrified for her life. We see her living in complete fear to the point where she won't even hardly leave the house until finally, several days later, Emily comes back to let Cecilia know that, you know what, you don't have to worry about Adrian anymore. Oh, yeah, the boyfriend's name is Adrian, by the way. I forgot to mention that. Anyways, Cecilia doesn't have to worry because Adrian is apparently dead. Or is he? So, yeah, the rest of the movie is Cecilia finally trying to move on and, somewhat unwillingly accepting the large fortune that Adrian left for her. She's trying to do her best to heal and use that money in a positive way, but strange little things keep happening. Things that make her realize Adrian might not actually be as dead as everyone thinks he is.
Well, he's not as dead as we would have hoped.
I felt it went back and forth between action and quiet moments pretty well. It was decently paced, if you will. For the most part, this movie fell more under a suspense category, I think. But there were definitely some creepy parts that sent chills down my spine in all the right ways. This whole time, we're not really sure what she's sensing or if it's actually real, but then we get this very first scene where there's definitive proof that there's someone standing behind her, even though we can't see anything because we can see his breath in the air, but that's all that we see. It's so creepy. I loved it. And I am no professional when it comes to cinematography or anything, but I really felt the movie was filmed in a very interesting way. There are a lot of long panning shots where you're forced to look at the set and really take in all of the room, which I thought was an interesting approach, because as Cecilia starts to suspect that Adrian is somehow still living and convinced that there's someone in a room there with her, the audience is already looking around for something to be out of place. So you start to feel the paranoia that Cecilia's feeling, because you're made to feel like something is there, even though nothing is visible. And like, those are the kinds of details that I love in movies like this. It's one of the reasons I love Alfred Hitchcock and old school M. Night Shyamalan. Sorry if I'm saying his name wrong. I honestly can't remember how to say it. Anyway, films like, Sixth Sense, Psycho, all of those had a lot of similarities when it came to this kind of use of camera work. So I really enjoyed that part. I also really like that this gave a more modern take on the whole idea of being invisible. It wasn't just a potion or whatnot, some sort of magical thing that changed him, but modern technology that let him have the ability to just chameleon himself to whatever background he had with his fancy sea pursuit.
Where is my super suit?
I don't know, it gave it a fun twist that was kind of more for this day and age, and I really like that. I was also really impressed with just the cast in general, but I have to give major props to Elizabeth Moss. I have the hardest time saying her name. Tongue twister. Elizabeth Moss. I thoroughly enjoyed her performance and thought it was really good in this. Now, again, I'm kind of out of the loop when it comes to modern movie stars and stuff. I thought she looked kind of familiar, but didn't really know why until I looked her up later and saw that she was one of the main characters in The Handmaid's Tale, which, hey, now guess what? I haven't watched that show either. However, Moss did a great job of drawing us into the idea that someone was in the room with her, even though we couldn't see anything. And as she morphs from terrified of her ex to more than pissed off, it was really interesting to see those changes take place from scene to scene, and I thought she did a really good job portraying it. I mean, I even said out loud at one point, you're gonna push her too far, man. She's gonna get back at you, and boy, was that a great plot point. But there were also so many scenes that were genuinely unexpected for me, which is kind of nice. I mean, I've watched enough movies now and read enough books that a lot of times I can kind of see the plot twist coming. Also, apparently ADHD brain means that I notice like stupid small details sometimes other people miss, so a lot of times I can figure out where something is going or what the plot twist is going to be. But scenes like when she sits down at the restaurant to talk with her sister, that's where part of the overall creep factor was so good, because you just never knew where this guy was going to strike. And he was so good at being patient and never giving up his location that it was a genuine shock when he finally did something to prove his point. I was not prepared for Cecilia's sister to just bite it. So that was a great twist in the story that left me feeling super surprised and was kind of that tipping point for Cecilia to I got to do something about this, In the end, Cecilia gets to exact her revenge. We got kind of this cat and mouse thing going on. She's trying to get ahead, but she eventually gets to exact her revenge. It's super, super satisfying. And then she finally gets to have the freedom that she's been wanting this whole time. All in all, this was a fantastic thriller horror movie with some good jump scares in there and just good old-fashioned storytelling. I would love to see more movies like this. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of a short review for this one, but those are just my thoughts. Love to hear all of you guys. Do you guys enjoy Invisible Man, or do you think it wasn't as good as other modern suspense movies or anything? Did you like the storyline? And do you have any more suggestions for suspenseful movies or anything like this that you want me to watch or critique? I'm going to start bringing in some book reviews as well. I've been getting back into reading, so I'm kind of open to anything. That's part of why I called this The Random Creative, because it really is just kind of whatever tickles my fancy at the time. But yeah, if you'd like to support me or the channel, subscribing is always great. Love that. And feel free to check out some of my landscape photography I have Instagram. I'll link my website and stuff. And maybe take a look at my young adult novel, The Isle of Never. It's just a standalone story that's basically It's just a standalone story that's basically a reimagining of the world of Neverland with a few twists and turns and a very handsome Captain Hook. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one.